looks like a bat.
This is Porky and he's a boy.
Alright, well, remember to read the directions. There is a right and wrong way to cut the pig. Don't cut off the umbilical cord.
This stuff is much you just can't get in your eyeballs. Wow.
But we can't cut it off.
Yay!
Sound effects.
Themselves get dirty. Go ahead, listen, we have a question. Yes, questions are fun. Right there.
Yay!
Somebody's got to read.
Okay, this is the umbilical arteries. In addition to the umbilical vein that connects the umbilical cord to the liver, there are now 2 arterial vessels that connect to the lower part of the abdominal cavity. These vessels carry blood to the placenta where it picks up nutrients and oxygen from the mother. This is the only connection between the mother and the offspring.
I don't care.
This is the liver. It's the largest internal organ for mammals. It has many functions, including metabolizing medicines, organic chemicals, and creating bile. Bile is similar to detergent for dissolving lipids during digestion. This is the diaphragm, thin muscular sheet that divides the thoracic and abdominal cavities, creates a vacuum that pulls air into the lungs, creating reception, also called breathing. This is the gallbladder, small sac-like structure attached to the right part of the liver. It collects bile, which is sent to the initial portion of the small intestine via the cystic and common bile ducts. This is the stomach, a pouch-shaped muscular organ that rests just posterior and dorsal to the liver. It is responsible for mechanically and chemically breaking down food and prepares it for digestion. Stomach cells regenerate every 20 minutes because they are killed by the hyaluronic acid they create. Nice. Okay. This is... Come back. Bad boy. Okay. This is the spleen, the thin, flat organ in the pig that lies along the left lateral margin of the stomach towards the extreme left side. In the pig, it looks like a flatworm or leech. The spleen is involved with maturation and process of immune cells as well as blood filtration. Mesentery. Thin sheets of tissue that hold the internal organs in place and provide them with blood supply and nervous input. Mesentery connects the organs dorsally to the spinal column. This is the duodenum, the initial segment of the small intestine, which is located immediately after the stomach. It is hard and muscular if you poke it with a probe or forceps. It is a major location for food digestion and is only about an inch long in the fetal pig. This is the small intestine, the duodenum, ileum, and jejunum. Together are known as the small intestine. The ileum and jejunum are the longest and most distal regions of the small intestine. Further digestion occurs and nutrients are absorbed here. This is the only way nutrients can get into the body. It looks like a... This is the large intestine. As the name suggests, this is a tightly wound coil of the large intestine. The large intestine reabsorbs water from digested food. Human large intestines are not in a tight coil. Rather, a large tube that revolves around every quadrant of the abdominal cavity. In pigs, this is a blind sac or dead-end branch of the large intestine. This is the technical beginning of the large intestine. It somewhat looks like a crooked figure. It is found at the juncture of the distal end of the ileum and the proximal end of the large intestine. This is the rectum. This lies towards the lower back region of the pig and is firmly attached to the dorsal wall of the cavity. Indigestible materials are processed here by probiotic bacteria, and the remaining water is reabsorbed. This results in feces. The rectum opens to the outside via the anus. Pigs do not have appendixes.
Kentucky. Yours is actually really easy to see. Right?
This is the pancreas, the bumpy yellowish brown gland located posterior and dorsal to the stomach. It looks like creamed corn and can be barely graded in appearance. The pancreas makes digestive enzymes and amylase and lipase, which is carried by the pancreatic duct to the duodenum. The pancreas also makes the hormone insulin, which promotes sugar intake from the blood. I love being cut open. Yay! This is the diaphragm, the muscular sheath that divides the thoracic and abdominal cavities. Creates a vacuum that pulls air into the lungs, creating respiration, also called breathing. Porky. That is like all the way through. This is the pericardium. The pericardium, the thin membrane covering the heart that keeps it in place and protects it from traumatic harm within the thoracic cavity. These are the lungs, lobed, spongy structure located on both sides of the heart. Functions in respiration by enabling gas exchange between the atmosphere and the body. The lungs are filled with alveoli, which are microscopic sacs of blood where gases can diffuse in and out of the bloodstream freely. This is the heart. The muscular heart pumps blood through the body, starting with the aorta. The aorta is a muscular artery visible at the anterior end of the heart. It also pumps blood to the lungs via the pulmonary arteries. Mammalian hearts are separated into 4 chambers, 2 arteria and 2 ventricles. This keeps deoxygenized blood from mixing with oxygenated one. Anderson, we need help. This is the thyroid gland, a small brownish purple gland located in the neck region, superficial to the trachea. The thyroid is important in regulating metabolism and growth hormones. This is the larynx located at the anterior end of the trachea and is also known as the voice box. It is firm to the touch and does not flex. This protects the vocal folds from traumatic damage as well as the junction of the esophagus and trachea. Okay. This is the trachea, relatively easy to identify in the neck and thoracic cavity due to the presence of cartilage rings that gives it segmented appearance. Looks worm or centipede-like. These rings keep the trachea from collapsing while also giving it flexibility. This is the bronchial tubes, Y-shaped tubes that connect the 2 lungs to the trachea and are the pathway of airflow in and out of the lungs. These are difficult to see because they are not exposed. This is the esophagus. You can probe this muscular tube dorsally from the trachea. Its function is to transport food into the stomach via peristalsis muscular movements. Food is truly pushed to the stomach.
I'll turn it this way because I need to disconnect it from here.
These are the kidneys, 2 bean-shaped organs on both sides of the spine. The kidneys are covered by peritoneal membrane and are thus located retroperitoneal. The kidneys excrete harmful substances from the blood and form urine. Kidneys are one of the largest internal organs. These are the adrenal glands. These small glands are located at the anterior and medial surface of the kidneys. The adrenals have 2 functions. 1, regulate your metabolism. 2, produce adrenaline that gives animals the adrenaline rush when fight or flight situations initiate. Okay, so now we need the... These are the ureters, 2 thin retroperitoneal tubes that connect the kidneys to the urinary bladder. Their function is to be the pathway of urine flow out of the organism. Okay, ready? This is the urinary bladder, large flattened sac that lies medial to the 2 umbilical arteries. It stores urine. This is the urethra, the tube that exits off the posterior end of the urinary bladder. The bladder must be pulled up and the urethra can be separated from the surrounding tissue. The urethra enables urine to flow from the urinary bladder to the urogenital opening. This is located in the pelvis at the base of the urinary bladder and may be difficult to see. Okay, These are the nostrils, the beginning of the respiratory system that warms and moistens air as it enters.